Ladies and gentlemen, yes, to my listening audience, I appreciate you. I could not do this without you. So I thank you each and every week for tuning in and lending to me your listening. Well, we have in the house some female going on today, and they are heavy hitters within the music industries. Okay, we are going to be tuning in with Black Orchid momentarily, but for now, let's get into what is up with the one-on-one music review show and what it is that we do from our end. Well, all songs included in our one-on-one music review show are based on the merits of each artist's musical production and not on fan base or record sales. And all songs included in our weekly shows are by artist submissions or recommendations by fans. Now, the musical content that is included in this show is judged by the quality of the recording, the listener impact, which is the message, creativity, and overall sonic quality. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and welcome to the Music Lab. Okay, we are going to be tuning in momentarily with all our guests for today's one-on-one music review show. I thank you for tuning in and lending to me your listening ear.
Normally I would make you breakfast in the morning. Normally we would make love every night. Lately it feels like things are a little different. It feels like you don't got time for me. I know you work hard all through the week, trying to get you to come close to me. The only time we have is on the weekend. Then you can put a little overtime on me. Yeah, on the back to life. Yeah, show me how you do, because I'm missing you. Baby, put it on me all night. Got me on the weekend. Baby, put it back to life. Show me how you do, because I'm missing you. Baby, put it on me all night. All night. Hey, yeah. Baby, put it on me all night. Yeah.
You know I always wanted to fall in love with her all nighter. For this everlasting love, we both fighters. I love the strips on your booty, call you a grown tiger. When you climb up on it like a pro hiker, make that pussy go hyper. Having her sweating until we on fire. No liar, you get the best of me, there's no bias. When I push it further, you don't go quiet. I am trying not to be the man that you want, but who you need. Knock your doors down like Luciano, who could it be? You indeed, I be saying everything that I mean. I'm cut from another cloth, I'm exactly what it seems. What we got together right now is far from another dream. Never ever in my life I will find another queen, nah, I mean. So every time I'm outside, just remember when I'm on the road that you on my mind. Will never leave you alone or on the deep end of the weekends. I'm gonna come back home. That's what
Yeah, baby, put me back to life. Show me how you do, because I'm missing you. Baby, put it on me all night. Yeah, baby, put me back to life. Show me how you do, because I'm missing you. Baby, put it on me all night. All night. Baby, all night. you see what you're doing to me? Rock it off in a 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 rock it off in a
What do you take me for? Tryna play me like a game of chess. I cannot take no more. You don't want to be faithful to me, say less. You make me feel insecure. You ain't able to keep your dick to yourself on that. You take me for puppet show. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. But you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. But you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart. Me hear the story them that my friend tell me, but you run gone and Julie us and get freaky. Why me have to hear back the things you not do with me? Tell me, did I do something wrong? Me is a woman who not fight over man. If Julie want you over there, you fit tan. Please give me hot liquor space, cause we need it. I don't wanna lose my cool, trust me. I think that it's time you learn.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, well, thanks for all the support and all the persons that are currently logging in and are loving Black Orchid's music. Yes, we're going to bring her on momentarily, and we're going to conduct this interview to ask her about some of the things that she has been doing. And I know a lot of persons, I've spoke to a few persons that she's a producer. They're very interested in what exactly she brings to the masses as well, and feel as if that she is actually worth being on higher platforms. So we want to get into Black Orchid today to find out what's going on in her world and female empowerment and all of that stuff and everything that's going on within the industry right now, what exactly she's doing. So I'm not going to let you wait any longer. I am going to bring her in, and we're going to ask some of the questions that are coming in from our audience as well. Hi, Black Orchid, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, let me tell you, I had an opportunity to, I sent a few songs to a few persons within my circle so that they could take a listen to your craft. And I was like, wow, she's absolutely incredible. So part of what I told them, that you are a producer and from one producer to the next, I kind of feel as if sometimes our voices aren't heard, or we do not get the same respect just as everyone else. I'm going to get into that, but before I get into that, can you tell our listening audience a little bit about Black Orchid? What the audience themselves should know about you as an individual?
Sure. I'm Black Orchid. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, a multifaceted creator based in Toronto, Canada. My specialty in production is most of everything, but I mainly specialize in dance hall, reggae, hip-hop, and R&B music. I also run a Instagram page called That's a Dope Sample, where I break down samples in various genres of music. I am co-owner of production and recording studio, Focus Studios, with my partner. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I produce for various people, local and international. The last biggest release was Red Rat's summer anthem this summer that dropped in June. I'm very happy and proud about that. So yeah.
Wow. Very well spoken, by the way. Loving it. So where are you? What about you starting out in music, you're residing in Canada right now. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Are you originally from Canada?
Yes, I was born and raised here. I'm first generation Canadian.
First generation, okay. But you have that Caribbean background that's going on.
Yes, my parents are Jamaican.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So when I go in and I listen to your material, as well, there are persons actually who have listened to your material and it's like, whoa, okay, nice R&B flavor going on, nice pop flavor going on as well. And the collaborations are on point. You have a few collaborations with various artists. I'm going to play a few throughout your interview today. Also, at the top of the hour, we played "Weekend Love." Okay.
Yes.
So talk to me about that song. I do believe it's a collaborative track, and the artist, and tell us a little bit about the other artists as well.
Yes. "Weekend Love" is one of my babies. I've been working on this song for a couple of years now. I co-wrote it with a friend of mine, David. He's an amazing musician, so he wrote the hook, and I pretty much did everything else. Recently, I've met people like yourself and the co-producer on this track, SOS Dynamics, who's a Grammy Award-winning producer out of Jamaica. And he's an amazing producer and a rapper as well. So he put his flavor on the track, and we combined forces, and this track came about. And I'm very proud of how it sounds great.
Now I'm going to play that track for persons actually who are just joining in a few minutes. But before I do that, the song itself. Could you tell me a little bit about what's the message of the song itself?
Yeah, sure. Basically, there's people who in relationships or married, and their girlfriend or their boyfriend might be hard working away from home, and the only time they get to really spend time with each other and do stuff that couples do is on the weekend. So I was just talking about that pretty much.
I love it. The weekend love. The weekend
right.
love. Some may say, that's a double-edged sword, as well. It's like, is that the only time it is that you will show affection as well? But
yeah.
For persons who are just joining, we are tapped in with Black Orchid, and she's out of Canada. Okay, however, her roots are Jamaican, and as you know, I've always said on this show and outside of this show that reggae music is the origin of all other music. It's not because I'm Jamaican, it's because it is that I've done my research and I truly believe in what it is that I'm saying to the audience. So, with that background it is that she has going on her roots are Jamaican or whatever, if you had to go in and listen to her, and I am going to be giving away a few tracks today because she has a few things that are highlighted. All her tracks are highlight exactly who she is as an artist and as a producer. So I'm going to jump to this Weekend Love that she just described, and we will be right back with some more of her collections. Okay, so sit tight, Black Orchid.
All right.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Normally I would make you breakfast in the morning. Normally we would make love every night. Lately it feels like things are a little different. It feels like you don't got time for me. I know you work hard all through the week, trying to get you to come close to me. The only time we have is on the weekend. Then you can put a little overtime on me. Show me what you do, because I'm put it on me all night.
You know I always wanted to fall in love with her all nighter. For this everlasting love, we both fighters. I love the strips on your booty, call you a grown tiger. When you climb up on it like a pro hiker, make that pussy go hyper. Having her sweating until we on fire. No liar, you get the best of me, there's no bias. When I push it further, you don't go quiet. I am trying not to be the man that you want, but who you need. Knock your doors down like Luciano, who could it be? You indeed, I've been saying everything that I mean. I'm cut from another cloth, I'm exactly what it seems. What we got together right now is far from another dream. Never ever in my life I will find another queen, nah, I mean. So every time I'm outside, just remember when I'm on the road that you on my mind. I will never leave you alone or on the deep end. And weekends I'm gonna come back home.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you before, we aim to please, we do not disappoint. You know what's quite interesting is that I had met Black Orchid before in the clubhouse. And I kept on saying to my assistant, he's like, I'm not seeing Black Orchid, what's going on? And she's like, oh, she's coming up, you know. But one of the things is that I had an opportunity to listen to a video that was played within the clubhouse. And I knew about her since that time. However, she had submitted to the show before. So then, you know, I'm not on social media all the time. Sometimes I'll post and I go. But I started checking out her stuff and I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. But I never realized, to be frank with you, Black Orchid, I never realized how talented you were until I listened to more of your music and realized, you know, what exactly you bring to the spectrum. So, as a female producer, and this question is coming from Dawn out of Ghana. As a female producer, do you find that your job as a female producer becomes harder because of the fact that you are a female?
As women, that we have to work twice as hard and prove ourselves harder, especially in this male-dominated industry. To people, I don't feel like that as much anymore, but I did feel like that a lot when I was coming up. But I think I've gotten to the level now where I've proven myself and proven my talent, so I don't really feel that way as much anymore.
Yes, and I understand exactly your response. When I first started, it's something I didn't see that. Maybe because I never thought to myself like I need to prove myself to anyone. But being in an atmosphere where it is that sometimes you're shunned, I started to pay attention. I was like, oh, wait a second. I can do exactly what that person is doing. So, you know, why is it that I should downgrade myself to please someone else? But yes, over time, I think for female, if it is that your approach is you're just like, you know, anyone else in terms of going out there and your mastery of your work. Yes, of course, sometimes we need a push, and also no matter how much you know, there's always something that you don't know, especially when it comes to the music industry. It's ever evolving, and it should always leave room for growth as well. Yes. So, Weekend Love, I must tell you, loving the song itself, and it's perfect. It is the weekend. It is. It is the weekend. I do, want to send a few shout outs to persons who have been hitting me up and actually are listening to this interview. Would like to send a shout out to Ezekiel Goson out of Nigeria, as well Martin out of Kenya, Joe out of Ghana, France and Frederick out of Jamaica. They have a question for you, and they have actually sent over to me. They're loving your sound. They're loving your sound. That if you had to compare yourself to another artist, who would that be?
I would say I'm a mix of different things. I would say I'm a mix of like maybe Aaliyah and Janet, Missy Elliott, those people as far as like my sound goes, as singing. But I think I have my own sound as far as my production goes, because I like to merge like different genres of music together.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm a mix of different artists.
Well, I've said it once or 1,000 times on this show is that when you talk about your influences, that something you find that most times the recording that you actually your final recording is there takes a little bit of all of your influences, just a little bit of each. So is Missy Elliott one of your influences as well?
Oh, most definitely. As far as being like writing and production, she's really up there. I've looked up to her since I was like a kid growing up listening to her music, and how she just innovated and trend-setting with her sound and her look. So I definitely am inspired by her that way.
Awesome. Another one of your tracks is Return My Heart.
Yes.
Return My Heart. I love the writing on that track, but for our listening audience who have not heard that track before, can you line it up and tell them what it's about?
Yeah, sure. Return My Heart was basically born out of heartbreak in real life. I was in a relationship and the person cheated, so instead of getting mad and scratching up cars and all that stuff, I just decided to get my feelings out by writing about it. So when I did that, I was looking for a female dancehall artist to get on it, and I connected with Swisha Sweets, who is an amazing dancehall artist here in Toronto, and we banged down in the studio one time, and yeah, it just came out to be a banger. And this particular version I gave you is actually the remix. I'm working right now with Richard Shams Brown. He's the famous producer of the Grass Cat rhythm that I had sampled in this remix. So we're working on an official remix right now, so stay tuned for that. But for now, this is the Back to the 90s remix of Return My Heart featuring Swisha Sweets.
Now, another thing as well, as a songwriter, would you say that what's a great percentage of your writing is coming from your way of life and from your own experiences? Is it a greater percentage or lesser percentage?
Yeah, I do write a lot about my life experiences and relationships and stuff. I do try to do outside of that and kind of write from another person's perspective other than my own, just so I can be diverse with my songwriting. Or I might even write from a male perspective as much as I could with input from other writers that are male. So I try to keep it, with like that most of the time. Yeah.
All right. So we are going to jump to Return My Heart, and we'll be right back with more Black Orchid. Stay tuned.
It feels like you don't.
What do you take me for? Trying to play me like a game of chess. I cannot take no more. You don't want to be faithful to me, say less. You make me feel insecure. You ain't able to keep your dick to yourself on that. You take me for puppet show. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. But you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. But you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart. Me hear the story them that my friend tell me, but she run gone and Julie us and get freaky. Why me have to hear back the things in other with me? Tell me, did I do something wrong? Me is a woman who not fight over man. If Julie want you over there, you fit tan. Please give my heart little space, cause we need it. I don't wanna lose my cool, trust me. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. Oh, you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. Oh, you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart.
Pack up your things and a come try contest. Now you a cry and a beg confess, but me no in a no mix up flex. Looking at your eye, but you're full of body lies. You beg me to say no way goodbye. You do me wrong thing, so me nah give you blind. You a take me for idiot, me want know why. Yeah.
Down with the heartbreak, down with the cries,
Done with deceit, so take off your disguise. Take up your things, do a come back tonight. We are playing with the crown,
and me have to take flight.
Lord God, oh, you're full over the crosses. Hey boy, you a play with the bosses. Think to a gal is no sir, take classes. Me a bad girl, so me never take losses.
I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. But you're not easy, but say you're not easy. Time to return my heart. I think that it's time you leave. Pack up your things and go. But you're not easy, but say you're not.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and to all the fellas that are showing love for this song, that cannot get enough of this song, and who Black Orchid is, she's going to tell you like how it is you can locate her at the end of the interview. But for right now, I am getting through enough of her songs so that you, the general public, can recognize exactly, you know, what exactly she has going on, and can start following her, and can also start purchasing some of her music, because right now music is on a very low, and they're talking in terms of streaming, the amounts are so small. So I encourage persons that if you can purchase is one thing. If you cannot purchase, that you can listen as well by going to the streaming platforms such as Spotify. Okay, so for this song, Return My Heart, going to be giving away 10 copies. So for persons who need Return My Heart, hit me up. Send me a message and tell me if you need Return My Heart. I'm giving away 10. I'm gifting persons 10 copies. Okay, and that gift actually is going to be through iOS. So please ensure that you do have an iPhone. Going to be gifting them straight from the Apple Store. So hit me up. We're going to listen all weekend. Well, you can purchase Weekend Love, but for Return My Heart, I'm giving away 10 copies. So I would like to send a special shout out to everyone who is sending me, pay homage to the countries every week who tune in and check me out as well. So I would like to send a special shout out to Ghana, Gambia, Kenya, Jamaica, South Africa. When we talk about South Africa, persons that are in Johannesburg, Rustenburg, Cape Town. I love you all. I love you all. I can't wait for November when I go on this long tour, that I will be there to check out each and every one of you guys. Zimbabwe, Uganda, Namibia. We have all those persons in the house. And of course, Jamaica. We have persons in the U.S. as well. I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate you tuning in every week and checking me out. So, in continuation, Black Orchid, the audience is loving you. The audience is the audience is loving you. Yes. So, the Return My Heart track, I'm gifting persons 10 copies because I would like them to hear exactly what it is that I am listening to and what it is that you bring to the platform in terms of your music as well.
Thank you.
So talk to me about COVID. You know, we have been going through this COVID period. You're in Canada, where it is that on the Canadian side, I'm hearing a few stories, and I don't know what's true. So I'm going to ask you as a Canadian. I hear that if I'm coming into Canada that I have to be vaccinated. Is that correct?
I believe that's what's happening right now. Yes, you have to be vaccinated to come here.
Wow. I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you if you are vaccinated. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Ask you about that. However, through the experience of this COVID period and stuff like that, are you working from an in-house studio, or are you actually leaving home to go to a studio to do your recordings?
I have just started going to studios to record. The whole time I've been working from home, recording my songs. Most of the songs that I've sent you, I've recorded them all from home. So, yeah, I was doing everything from home. And then when they, took us off of lockdown, then I started going into studios more. Yeah.
Wow. Well, and now is it a harder process in terms of you getting everything together and being able to record? Do you find it is much easier before the COVID, or are you adjusting? Are you still adjusting? I know for myself, I'm an introvert, so I stay home all the time unless it is that I really have to go outside and travel or get something done. However, I had to make a few adjustments. Do you have to make adjustments as well?
To some degree, yeah. I mean, you know, with stuff closing, like you know, if you need to get things, like stuff closes early and stuff, so because they change the hours of things, and you know, just wearing masks everywhere, and you know, sometimes I find it hard, especially when the kids are going to school next month. Well, it's easier now that that when they go to school, but when they're here sometimes and they want to work, I can't because they're, you know, doing their thing in the background. But I don't know, I might keep them at home when school starts up again, so that might be a hindrance to me when I'm trying to work when they're still here. So it's been a bit of an adjustment that way. I just have to when that happens, I just adjust the times that I work at, you know, so the kids can be happy and I can be happy too.
Yeah, you know, yesterday I was invited to be on a platform, and I'm to be frank with you, I am on the platform, and before I even got on, there were other guests or other that they brought in, and one of the guests on the platform, there was a kid in the background. There was at least 3 kids making so much noise you could hardly hear what the person was saying. And I'm like, listen, we're gonna have to draw the line somewhere, you know. It's either you can do the webinar or you cannot do it. But I think it's very unprofessional to have a webinar and there are kids in the background that's going on so loud. I love kids, but I think it takes away from the professionalism in terms of having so much noise in the background and what's going on. So, but then again, it's a little bit of adjustment everywhere as we look at new rules and things that are put in place as we go forward. As we talk about your kids staying home, let's dive a little bit into your career. What do you see happening in the future for Black Orchid? If the world should open up tomorrow, are you prepared to go out and start, start voicing or start performing for?
You know, I already am. I've already started doing stuff. I have a performance coming up next month, I've been working. I've been working in the studio and stuff. Going out and doing stuff on the production end of the studio, working with new artists and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been going out and doing stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's exciting for me to actually be able to do that now after being like cooped up in the house so long and everything being closed. So yeah, I'm excited about getting back out there and performing and doing my thing.
Awesome. Well, when you go back outside, are you planning to come to the U.S. or Jamaica?
Yeah, I would love to at some point. I would love to. I don't think we can cross over yet, but as soon as the border opens up, yeah, I would love to come down there.
Wow.
And do some work.
Yes. So, you know, if you're ever going to be performing in the U.S. and it's, you know, wherever in the U.S., I will travel to see you, you know, because I value your music. I'm not just telling you that. Because my listeners, and you know, I'm pretty sure they could vouch for myself. It is that if you're on this one-on-one music review show, I have a high respect for what you do as an artist and for what it is that you deliver in terms of your production as well. So yeah, I would love to take you out live in concert and check you out and see exactly what's going on there. So during the COVID period, did you do any virtual performance at all?
Yeah, I did a couple of them actually.
I missed it.
The last one I did was a couple months ago. I performed back in April at a virtual festival, Afro Wave, with Swisher Sweets, and I did a couple more festivals with a couple of guys here that I'm involved in here locally in the city. Shout out We Stay Woke. They had us on for me and my other co-star for another song that we did. So yeah, I have been performing virtually too.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
I've cued one of your song, More Quicksand. Quicksand.
Yes, I'd love to tell you about this.
Tell me about Quicksand, because
All right. This is a remix actually. Shout out to my boy Go To Guy. We met on Clubhouse in the No Egos room there, and we connected. And he came in and asked me if I could do a remix to this popular song by this rapper from Fayetteville, More. So I flipped it dancehall style. And he really, shout out to him for real for like setting off the bug in me, because after that I did like 3 more remixes of other songs too. So I just wanted to and what I can do as a producer. I could take a song and remix it, or take an acapella and build a beat around it. So yeah, this is an example of what I can do.
awesome. So I am going to jump to Quicksand, and we'll be right back with some more questions, as well as some new questions are coming from our audience. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, I always tell my audience, and thanks for confirming. Somebody just sent me a message and say, yes, Empress Rose, you never disappoint. You bring great music all the time. And shout out to Creative Rabbit out of South Africa. I see you. Thanks for tuning in and checking me out. I love all the support. As I tell people, I'm much of an introvert, so I don't like, unless it is that I really need to have a conversation, we're not talking. So once per week, here it is. I put everything together and says, you know what? Let me go out there and do 3 to 4 hours worth of interview and have a conversation with various persons. So I appreciate the audience who has tuned in each and every week and is checking me out. So yes, I'm really loving the Quicksand.
Thank you.
I love the collaboration you did on that. Now, you have been producing for how many years?
Officially 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. And you're perfect. What DAW are you working with? Pro Tools, or you'll do a little bit of Logic?
Pro Tools and Fruity Loops mostly. I use like a keyboard and an Akai MP 218 to do stuff with. So yeah, it's mostly Logic and Fruity Loops that I use to make my beats with.
Oh wow, we have something in common. Okay.
Yeah.
We have something in common.
We can collab.
Exactly. I'm going to be working on a project for next year. That's my own project. Every year I look to elevate and do different things, and so it's a huge project. So, and I am looking to bring on various females in the industry. So no shade to the male producers. However, I have a project that will involve various female producers across the world
Awesome.
as well. So I'll hit you up and let you know about it and what the plans are in place for that as well. Now, as we talk about production, what is your favorite genre to produce?
My favorite genre of music to produce would be R&B. Mainly because I grew up listening to that first before I got turned on to dancehall. So I love making R&B music.
Oh wow. Well, why did I know that? That was I kind of have an idea that was going to be the response. That was going to be the response based on what's going on in terms of your recordings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's kind of good that you're able to answer that question truthfully, because there are some producers, female and male, that will say, well, I don't have a favorite, but you know exactly where your strength lies. And that's also a good thing, especially with producing yourself. Where your strength lies. You do it very well.
Thank you.
So what's next for Black Orchid? For the rest of this year, we are now in, well, damn, it's almost it's September already. What am I talking about? I was about to say August. It's September already. Let's just say that, right? We got one. September.
I'm working. I'm getting my EP ready for next year. I got some amazing collabs going on. I met some amazing people on Clubhouse that I'm doing some collabs with. Shout out to Josh Dingle. Shout out to SOS Dynamics who helped me with. Shout out to Tisha Rain. All these amazing people that I've met. I'm working on that, and I'm working on artist development right now with a friend of mine. She's an amazing singer. We used to sing together back in the day, so we've got our group back together so we can help her out. So look out for that. The remix to Return My Heart's coming soon with Richard Shams Brown. So I got a lot of stuff going on. Right.
Well, Well, that's you all day. I love it. I love it. Especially, again, as a female within this industry, to show that you are making moves. You are not letting the pandemic hold you down, and you're moving forward and doing great things. And I say great things because the music is just awesome. It's freaking awesome. Okay?
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. So, can you plug your social media handles for our audience?
So I can be found on Instagram as I am BLKORCHID. I'm on Twitter as the same thing. You can find me on SoundCloud. You can find me on Facebook as Black Orchid Music. You can follow the studio page at Focus Studios Inc. You can follow my sample page at That's a Dope Sample. If you like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm all over the place, so you can find me everywhere. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Black Orchid Music. Yeah, all that good stuff.
You know what's interesting? So I was following you on, on a few. We follow you on a few pages. We have quite a few pages on social media, but on Instagram specifically. So you're on a few pages together, but then we went into one of the pages that you're not on and was searching for your name, and I never realized how much persons had the Black Orchid name. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So after searching and everything, and they called me and they're like, we can't find her. I says, listen, hold up a second. And I went over there and says, Miss Rose, look in there and see how much Black Orchids there is. I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't realize it was a common name as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So very awesome. Awesome in terms of what you've been doing. We're going to ride out with Show You. Show You.
Yes.
What can you tell me about that track itself? Can you set it up for a listening audience?
Of course. This particular track, I've worked on it a couple times until I got it right. Shout out to Kalar DeLuises who jumped on it with me. I basically wrote it just as COVID was starting and they locked us down. And I'm like, I missed whoever I'm seeing. I wish they could come over and let me, make a song about how I feel about that kind of thing. So, I made an amazing video. Shout out to Tess Francis who directed that amazing video. You can watch it on YouTube. Show ya.
So, before we get into the song itself, one of the things is that I realized that there are various artists that have come up with COVID songs. Do you have a COVID song as well?
I do. This one I would say would be one. And I have another one where I'm talking about being locked up in the house too. But I didn't really outright say it. But yeah, it was basically based on how I felt when COVID hit.
I think I want to do a playlist that's centered around COVID of reggae songs. You know,
Yeah.
I have a few playlists, and I that's one that I would like to do. So I think
Okay.
it's due, and I think that, you know, especially when we talk about the movies and films and documentaries, short films, and to the box office that are coming out, they are going to be searching for that perfect COVID song that has to do
Yeah.
with whatever they have going on there as well. So on the Show You song, is this a song that's by yourself, or is it another collaboration?
So this features Labb, the lyricist, who is another amazing dancehall artist here in Toronto. He, you know, brought his amazing flavor to the song. So, yeah, big up Labb, the lyricist one time still.
Wow. So, to our listening audience, we're going to be playing Show You out the gate. And Black Orchid, I really appreciate you stopping by. This is well overdue. I am going to bring you back again after you do all those awesome work. I am going to invite you again so that our audience also can, you know, get a taste as to the collaborative track or the remix as well that you're working on, and also your EP as well, you know. And to the listening audience, please follow Black Orchid, okay? If you're unsure and she spoke too fast or I spoke too fast, just go on to my social media and you can find her link there, because every week we put the flyers, you know, on more than one, especially Instagram pages where it is that you can locate it. Go follow her. And this Show You song that I'm about to play as well, I'm also giving away 10 copies. You do not have to have iOS for this one. You can also have an Android. So hit me up. I am going to be gifting 10 copies of Show You. Black Orchid, it's been a pleasure having you come back.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, Empress. And thank you for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoy my music, and I hope to see you on my various social media platforms. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Have yourself a blessed day there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shut to me now.
You wanna keep your distance, but the cravings are killing me.
Quarantine time.
You wanna lock up inside your house. Playing it safe is what you're about. That ain't no problem. I don't mind showing myself some love. I should send you a video so I can show you what you are missing. I want you to come over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. We have a little something for sure. I want you to come over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. We have a little something for sure. You need to know, yeah. You met your match when you buck up on a girl like me. Come make me show ya. I want to be the one to fulfill all your fantasies. I know you gon' like it. Make me wine on you, boy, right now and see. Baby, now fight it. It's a different type of thing that you're on when you get with me. I want you to come over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. We have a little something for sure.
See me here. Black Orchid. You don't see me wasted. You want feature, you know.
Yeah.
So you say, mama.
And I said nothing. Yeah.
Shut to me now.
You wanna keep your distance, but the cravings are killing me.
Quarantine time.
You wanna lock up inside your house. Playing it safe is what you're about. That ain't no problem. I don't mind showing myself some love. I should send you a video so I can show you what you are missing. I want you to come over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want you to come over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. You need to know, yeah. You met your match when you buck up on a girl like me. Come make me show ya. I want to be the one to fulfill all your fantasies. I know you gon' like it. Make me wine on you, boy, right now and see. Baby, now fight it. It's a different type of thing that you're on when you get with me. I want you to come over. We have a little something for sure, yeah. I want
to bend over. Me have a lick or something for you. I want you to come over. Me have a lick or something for show you. I want to bend over. Me have a lick or something for you.
Nah, open up the door now. Say you a lead, me come fi settle up the score now. I know Star Wars, don't be selfish, your hands not for solo. Make we shot this to porn now. So baby, tell me what you need. Guaranteed to keep your moist, I get your panty shield. With the maximum sex appeal. I've got a secret for your years, it involves extra skills. So show me the freak you be. You into people watching on live IG. You can bring a friend, show me how live you be. There's a party now, me pants in a COVID-19.
I want you to come over. Me have a lick or something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. Me have a lick or something for sure, yeah. I want you to come over. Me have a lick or something for sure, yeah. I want to bend over. Me have a lick or something for sure, yeah.
It's Keller, Black Orchid. Love it when the thing organic, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep it wet.